all of you a special guest that we have today. She is master in styling. She's someone who has worked with over 2,500 clients across the world on styling. I'm sure that she's gone through her own journey also. She's specialized in fashion and styling. उन्होंने formally पढ़ाई की है इसकी, and that of course adds value, right? Because एक बार आपको अगर styling थोड़ा scientifically समझ में आ गई, तो जैसे हम हमेशा बात करते हैं monochromes पहनो, flares पहनो, all of that, there's a reason that those kind of silhouettes, those kind of styles look good on short women. And so to help us further up with that, we have Vishwa Thakor joining us. Start by saying, isn't she so beautiful?
Thank you so much. It's such a pleasure to be here.
Likewise. No, I think this means a lot. Especially as we're building RareReach, and we're still, in the foundation of building India's first community for short women. To have someone like you who's so celebrated, who knows styling so well, I'm sure that the RareReach fam is going to get a lot of value from that. And make sure, guys, that you do. I will be looking through all of your questions, and I'll make sure that I can relay them on to Vishwa. There's lots of gupshup that we have to do about fashion, styling, her personal preferences, and of course, some short girl masala that I always like to add in. So we'll just get started with that.
Absolutely.
So how are you doing?
Amazing. I'm super excited about this. This is my first time going live, so it's kind of a new experience. I have been doing a lot of this with in person and one-on-one sessions with a lot of my clients, but going live on Instagram is not something that I have done yet, but I think this is going to be a really good experience.
Wow. That makes it even more special for us then, because you're doing it for a community jisko fashion mein koi nahi dikhta hai. We are all talking about plus size, we're talking about fit, but we are hardly talking about petites. And only lately have I seen, and I'm so proud that Vishwa, you yourself have been talking about petites so much through your content, and that's been very educational. So I'm very glad that, slowly karke that conversation has started trickling into our country, and people are finally saying ki height bhi important hai.
Absolutely.
Lovely. So Vishwa, I'd love to know, now you've spent so much time in styling. What got you into this space? Why did you want to become a stylist?
Beginning from fashion. So fashion का हमेशा से एक कीड़ा था, right from my childhood. So I just decided to get into fashion designing. And while I finished my graduation, I realized that designing is not really my thing. And during those years of my fashion designing, I came across editorial styling that fascinated me a lot. Like ये magazines के लिए काम करना, models के साथ shoot करना, and like dressing them up was quite a very interesting thing at that time. So I decided to learn fashion styling, जिसमें सारे ही concepts, सारे ही type के styling were included, including your celebrity styling, your editorial styling, your personal styling. Again, वो पढ़ते I realized that okay, editorial is not something that I am as inclined towards as much that I am towards personal styling. क्योंकि just going by the fact that magazines are one of the biggest things जहाँ से हमें एक वो एक sense of negativity भी feel होती है कि we start comparing ourselves कि मैं ऐसी क्यों नहीं हूँ, मेरा body तो ऐसा है. I didn't really wanted to be a part of that community where I'm kind of boosting models and styling those kind of body shapes. I actually wanted to work for regular people जो हर body shape में होते हैं, जो हर कोई भी height में हो सकते हैं. So how can they actually look good and feel very confident with whatever that they want to wear? So that's how my fashion styling and my journey as a personal stylist started. And I worked with Myntra for 3 years as a virtual stylist, and that was like a great experience and a lot of exposure I got because all regular people were joining the sessions, and I had the opportunity of talking to them every day, finding out क्या दिक्कतें आ रही हैं उनको, what is something that they really want. So that's when I decided that okay, I want to do this full time, and that's what I'm doing now.
How amazing is that? That's so beautiful. And that is so selfless also, Vishwa, because you're right. I think of all these people that I've spoken to as part of also building RareReach, I realized when you ask aajkal ke bacche, 14-year-olds, 15-year-olds, who do you want to look like? They'll say, I want to look like Deepika. I want to look like Priyanka. But what we need to understand, guys, is Deepika and Priyanka have very big teams and very, experts, basically, like Vishwa, who are working behind the scenes and making sure that every look comes together. So, एक डेढ़ महीना, कई बार कई महीने, कई बार कई साल काम होता है वो look को एक साथ लाने में. So, while they look a certain way, if somebody हमारे साथ इतना मेहनत करे तो हम भी उतने अच्छे शायद लग जाएंगे. तो I think these were very unrealistic goals just in society in general, and we also wanted to break those norms. And what you're doing is actually not just speaking but putting that into action, right? So that's very beautiful.
Yeah, thank you.
So Vishwa, in this process, I'm sure that there's been a lot of personal transformation also for you, right? So if you were to say, how have you transformed your style in this journey of speaking to, meeting with so many people? It could be based on your own struggles, it could be based on struggles of others, or something that you liked in someone else. So you also just hum jaise bade hote hain, we find our style and it evolves over time. So how has your style journey been?
Um, I think it has just elevated rather than evolved क्योंकि बचपन से my style was always more towards being a very edgy person into fashion. Like कुछ ना कुछ मेरे कपड़ों में ऐसा होता ही है which I would think that it is making me stand out, right? Other people can have a different opinion about it, but I would always like to wear certain things or certain styles, even in the most basic kind of tops or t-shirts or in my jeans. But something would be styled in a way that always elevates the look in a very effortless way. That has always been my style, and I think as I aged, I just started to do it better for myself rather than just transforming into somebody who's totally different. So I think, yeah, that elevation came after I got into personal styling, and a sense of empathy was developed after talking to a lot of regular women. Like, जैसे I always feel that whenever a client comes to me, they're always coming from a sense of not feeling too good about themselves, right? That has always been the case. And of course, there's something that you're not liking in yourself, appearance wise, weight wise, size wise. That's the complaint you have with your own self. And that's why you're coming for the transformation. What they're not really understanding is कि आपका कोई body एकदम से change नहीं हो रहा है. You're not really going to increase your height or anything. It's just about understanding the concept के मैं इसी body में how can I really elevate the look with whatever that I want to wear. Like a lot of people also kind of restrict themselves कि because मेरा body shape ऐसा है या because मेरी height ऐसी है मैं सिर्फ यही चीजें पहन सकती हूँ और ये मैं बिल्कुल भी नहीं पहन सकती. That is the biggest myth. Everybody can wear anything that they want. It's just about a few tips and tricks that you can use somewhere or the other to just make it look better for yourself. I think this kind of really changed when I started talking to a lot of regular people and having them as my clients.
I love that. And that's very true. I think I've also seen and I've also felt that, for example, for the longest time, I was very conscious about my arms. And I used to feel like maybe if I wear sleeveless clothes, my arms will not look very lean. But then for me, the change was when I saw someone like me wear it. And I was like, if they can do it, I can also do it. So why am I feeling shy?
Exactly.
Which again comes back to the whole point of, that we are all different. We all have very different bodies. And we just know we should probably just, the art is probably learning that this is our body. How is it that we can make it look its best? And fashion, of course, I think styling is quite scientific, as I like to call it, Vishwa. I'd love to know your perspective, but I feel it's all science only. You understand your proportions and then you play around it, and that just helps
Absolutely.
you find your voice.
That's totally correct.
So now coming to proportions, just as a beautiful segue, हम तो छोटे होते हैं और हमारी इतनी height नहीं होती, so I think the kind of proportions probably become very important. But this again is my view. I'd love to know, you as an expert, what do you think? How important are proportions for short women? And then how is it that we can leverage silhouettes to really work out proportions for us?
Okay, so I think sabse pehle to before we go into proportions, it's very important for everybody, but especially petite women, to understand that they need to stand tall. A lot of time, your posture itself is something that's killing your look. You can be wearing the most expensive outfit in your wardrobe, but if you're not standing the right way with the right posture, it's not going to help. It's not going to look like you're wearing the most expensive dress, right? So standing tall and just like your shoulders at the back and just feeling that tallness around your neck right here and around your chest is such an important thing, but it's such an underrated tip for everybody, right? So I think I'd like to start with that. And coming to proportions, like, of course, it's about understanding that when we talk about height, we're basically talking about your verticals. Hamara height up to down hai, right? And we want to accentuate that. We're just trying to find different ways to accentuate the height and to appear taller. Styling is always about creating those illusions. हम actually आपका height 5 feet से 5'4" नहीं कर रहे हैं. हम ऐसा illusion जरूर create कर सकते हैं, right? So it's about including those kind of styles, those kind of design details, which is actually going to move your eyes or have that eye movement, which makes a person look up to down. अगर मैं आपको देख रही हूँ, I would want to look at you up to down and not side to side. If I'm looking at you side to side, means कि आपका height वहीं पे slash down हो गया, and you're now going to appear shorter. So things like horizontal stripes, the worst thing that a petite person could wear. Horizontal stripes in their top wear options, bottom wear options, anything. I would never ever recommend that. But in turn, vertical stripes, the biggest boon to any petite person is vertical stripes as a print, the simplest thing that's available. So I think proportions का importance तो बहुत ही ज़्यादा है. We are trying to make the legs appear taller as we style ourselves. So वो हम कैसे कर सकते हैं? Our body is always divided. Whatever that we are wearing, our body is divided into different proportions. एक आपका leg face हो गया, then it's your torso and your legs, right? Your legs are always, like majority for a lot of people, your legs are going to be taller. We want to maintain that. Legs हमेशा लंबे लगने चाहिए. कैसे लगेंगे? High waisted bottoms, that's always going to help. अगर किसी के hips ज़्यादा broad है and then they wear things which are skinny for any reason, it's actually going to emphasize that broadness around the hips, क्योंकि वो तो body hugging option है जो आपने पहन लिया. But if you're wearing something which is straight and probably having vertical stripes on the bottoms as well, right? Plus it is high waisted. All of that is working in a way to make your lower body, basically to making your legs appear taller, right? So it's all of these things that matter so much. बहुत छोटी-छोटी चीजें होती हैं, but they can actually make or break the look that you are trying to create.
Lovely. So I think some very, very important tips there. And of course, now we understand the reason for those tips also, right? So it's all about, again, like Vishwa said, creating vertical lines, not breaking your body into proportions that you don't want to.
Exactly.
And bringing that continuity top to bottom, so that just elevates your entire look. Lovely. And I loved your tip about sitting straight. As soon as you said that, I realized, and I was just like, okay, let me just put up like my best, of course, it's very true. It's very, very true what you said. Posture is a big part of even just personality and confidence. When you're standing up straight, sitting up straight, you also feel like you're very focused, na? So that absolutely is very true, and we don't often correct ourselves. I have like a little bit of a slouch all the time, so I remember to remind myself every now and then.
You should.
Okay, so now I think Vishwa has already given us some really interesting, exciting tips on the perfect silhouettes and the kind of clothing that short women can wear to sort of elevate their look, create the right kind of vertical lines in their silhouette. Let's get to some masala fun part now. And I'd love for all 40 plus of you to participate in this.
Okay.
So this is going to be Vishwa's favorite picks for shorties. Not the Karan Johar rapid fire style, but like thoda slow se. So the first question is, what fabric or kind of fabrics do we all think, guys, so type in, do we all think are good for short women? Okay, so cotton is a popular choice. Yes. Vishwa, what do you think?
So cotton has a lot of different variations. Like linen is also cotton. It's just a different kind of weaving. Mull cotton is again still cotton, but it's again a different kind of weaving. So I don't really want to get too technical, but the answer basically is always going to be that being a short person, you cannot have any fabrics on yourself which are too bulky or too thick, right? So anything which is lightweight, which is flowy, that is always going to work. So now I can say things like, if we talk about cotton, mull cotton is the best in my opinion. Rayon is going to be great. Silk, a pure silk is going to drape the most beautiful on any person. Like, we're not just talking about petite, but we're talking about curvy people, we're talking about slim people, we're talking about medium body shapes, whatever that you want to say. But it's going to drape the best. You can go for satin, you can go for georgette, you can go for chiffon, you can go for crepes, everything which is lightweight. That's always going to work. But when I say that thick or bulky fabrics do not work, I don't mean that denim is something that you can never wear. Because thicker fabrics, we are also talking about the silhouette or the shape of that denim. Is that denim shape that you wear is thick, of course, but it's also in a shape that's very, very broad around your ankles, then it's definitely going to make you look super short. But the same denim in a better silhouette for yourself, so let's say a straight fit or something which is going boot cut or something which is very slightly like a mini flare style, all of that still in denim is going to work so well. So I think, yes, that's the lightweight options. And if you're going for the bulky ones like denim, then yes, the silhouette matters a lot.
Fantastic. My next question, what necklines do we think are great for short women?
Okay.
आखिर सही जवाब क्या है?
Is V-neck.
It's V-neck. Okay.
Absolutely a V-neck. And see, basically, जैसे हमने बताया कि we're trying to create more vertical details. Nothing more vertical than a V-neck line. It's literally drawing your eyes downwards this way. And it's not necessary that everybody is supposed to wear deeper V-necks only. Like some people would want to go for more modest options, and that's totally okay, right? So you just want to take care of the fact that the V is clearly visible, and it's not just there for the sake of it, right? So that elongation should be clearly visible. And I think apart from V-neck, another neckline that I totally admire is a sweetheart neckline. It's kind of an amalgamation of, like, I would just like to call it that way. It's an amalgamation of a square and a V kind of a style, right? So it's giving you that elongation, but with a sense of wideness as well. So for it to be recommended for a specific person, it's a little bit tricky because it does depend on the actual body shape as well. But yes, we are basically trying to keep this area slightly open for anybody who wants to create that elongation. And yes, like a lot of people are writing here, definitely no high necks. Absolutely no high necks. But yes, now because we are transitioning into winter and probably at some places winter is already right there, you might have to wear higher necklines just to keep yourself warm. Now, does that mean you can never ever wear turtlenecks or higher necks in winters? No, you can wear them. But along with your higher necklines, you can easily wear maybe like a chain necklace with a pendant. So you're keeping yourself warm, but with that chain necklace and that pendant, your chain is going to fall in a V shape. Again, you're giving yourself that illusion of V and just helping others to draw their eyes up to down. So I think that is something which can still help you wear higher necklines if that's what you really need to.
Fantastic. So guys, you have your summer wear and your winter wear both sorted. If you're doing winter wear, turtlenecks with some necklaces that can help you give that elongation V neckline effect. And summers में हो तो clearly आप लोगों ने बड़ी homework की हुई है, so you know what it is that we have to do. Lovely.
Yeah.
Okay. The next question. अभी क्या सीजन चल रहा है, विंटर्स तो चल ही रही है, लेकिन इतनी सारी शादियां हो रही है, मुझे तो बिल्कुल चांस नहीं मिला किसी शादी में जाने का. लेकिन आप सब लोग जो जा रहे हो, आई एम श्योर वी हैव क्वेश्चंस अराउंड व्हाट आर perfect शादी सीजन आउटफिट्स फॉर शॉर्ट गर्ल्स. सो मे बी यू ऑल कैन टाइप इन क्या पहन रहे हो, क्या पहनना चाहते हो, क्या लगता है बहुत ही हिप है, हैपनिंग है.
Great. I'm not going to choose one because, like I said, you can wear anything and everything you want. But now, just talking about the technicalities of what can you wear in saris and what in lehengas is something that's going to matter. Again, if you're going to wear saris, it's about the fabric. So if your fabric is lightweight, if your fabric is flowy, all these georgette, chiffon, crepe, satin, silk, all of these fabrics are going to help you better rather than going for organza, like and what was the other tissue saris, something like a Kora silk, which is very starchy and very stiff. All of those kind of fabrics, which kind of stays away from your body. It's just going to create a bulky look when you do all those pleats right in the center. Even if you don't have a tummy bulge, those pleats, if not pleated well, they can create a look of a bulged up tummy, right? So that fabric matters the most. The other thing in saris which matters the most is the draping. So it needs to be draped well. Now I can't just explain verbally how it can be draped well, but yes, your pleats need to be very neat. Your pleats needs to be stretched from the bottom so that they stay well. And another thing in saris is the blouse. The color contrast of the blouse. If you're going to wear the same color of blouse as the color of your sari, you're creating a monochrome look, which can definitely create a better elongation in your overall height. Not that you can absolutely not wear something which is a contrasting color, but if you are choosing a contrasting color blouse with your saris, it is better to choose the right necklines again. So a V neckline would be the best choice. I would say everybody who feels like they are super short and they can never wear anything that they like and all of that, just follow Alia Bhatt. She's the one who is genuinely petite, and she always wears things that shows the neck in a moderate, in a modest way, right? She would be wearing the monochrome looks as well. She would be wearing the contrasting looks as well. But it always, you'd never be able to see that she's looking super short, right? There's always a sense of elongation in whatever that she's wearing. Now, coming to your lehengas, it's going to be an A-line thing, which is the broadest around your bottom part. If you are teaming it up with a blouse or with a choli, which is a boat neck, let's say, you literally made your upper area appear super boxy. You made it look very, very wide. How's that going to help? There is no elongation. So again, you cannot just blame one thing. Like it's not that I can never wear lehenga because I'm short. No, you can probably not wear the lehenga with that blouse. You can wear the same lehenga but with a better blouse. So the details in elongation is the most important right here. So basically, you can wear whatever that you want.
Lovely. So I think, guys, in terms of, again, looking at styling, what Vishwa is also saying is the fact that if you understand your body and what your goals in styling are, if your goal is to elongate, if your goal is to create a vertical line, then you know that these are things that you can do across different garments, right? V-neck need not just be the top or the blouse that you're wearing. It could also be the sari blouse that you're wearing. It could also be a dress that you're wearing. And similarly with your sari as well, I think how is it that you can create those perfect vertical lines rather than diagonal or unclear, unfinished lines that will just make sure that you get that elongation very beautifully and very perfectly. So it's a same styling goals, keeping that in mind and reiterating that through small things that you do in your styling. I think two things that I learned which were very helpful for me from a sari styling draping perspective, just to add on, was one, typically if you're 4'11" and shorter, I was advised that we do up to 3 to 4 drapes. जो हम बनाते हैं ना, पल्ला बनाते हैं, the pleats, 3 to 4 pleats. Right? Okay. So that actually I tried it and it really worked for me, magic. Second thing that really worked for me was, rather than having a palla that is flowy and draping, like just flowing, again, pleat that up. So make like a very thin palla that sits well on your shoulders. So again, it will give you like a very clean line. And niche bhi not a very long palla, not a very short palla, neatly draped, safety pin अच्छे से लगा के बिल्कुल rectangular, and वो आपके hip say maybe 3 to 4 inches at most, and that again creates like a very beautiful line. It's very easy to manage and it's actually very neat and clean for petites as well. So two tips that worked out very well for me. You can try it, of course, but I would say that I really found कि कम अगर आप pleats करो and palla अपना clean रखो, so that looks very beautiful.
I would say completes, I definitely agree with that. But yeah, people who want to actually pin up the pallas, that's totally their choice. But I would always go for a open palla, just for the fact that sari mein jo bhi border hoga, may it be woven or something which is embellished, when it just gives you that vertical line right from your shoulder till the end, wherever it's coming, and in that open flowy fabric, I feel like it's gonna elongate you much better. Mm-hmm. And another thing, when you just keep it open, it just needs to be pinned right under your blouse. यहाँ पे मतलब जब कभी भी पल्ला open रहता है, तो we always try to कहीं से खिंच जाए, कहीं से ऊपर नीचे हो जाए उसका length. So that needs to be taken care of whenever you're trying to keep it open. That's the only suggestion I would have if you want to keep it open.
That's also a very important tip. Actually, it's a very functional and useful tip. So guys, I guess it may also depend on fabrics. It may also depend on the kind of borders, like Vishwa said, absolutely. And try it out. Don't be afraid of wearing saris. Experiment with it. There is no right age to experiment. And a lot of you I know I can see your names are young folks, right? Because I recognize all of you. We've spoken before. So don't be afraid of like wearing saris. Wear it, experiment it. Kabhi palla kholo, kabhi tie karo, aaram se pehno. And there is no such thing that short women can't wear saris. I think sari is the most beautiful garment ever made in my view, to at least, and I can be biased. But I feel like it's just so, I won't even say forgiving, but it's just so welcoming to all body types, all heights. Use it, leverage it.
One more thing about sari that I just remembered is anybody who's top heavy, they would always try to cover their chest with their palla coming like till here. कोई भी negative spacing बची ही नहीं होती. Like if you're wearing a V-neck exactly like mine right now, and I have put a palla right till here, मुझे सिर्फ इतना मेरा skin दिख रहा है यहाँ पे, just this much. That never helps. It's okay if you are top heavy. It's not that आपको बहुत ज्यादा skin दिखाना चाहिए. That's not what I'm suggesting. But you need to have a little more negative spacing right here. And another thing, with that kind of a palla, अगर आपने उसे ऊपर तक यहाँ तक पहन लिया है, there is absolutely no point wearing a necklace with it then. If you're sure that you want to wear it till here, and there's no other way that you can do it, no necklace for you, because then there's going to be so much happening right here. Just go for earrings then. So that's one more thing.
Lovely. So all of you who are also heavy busted, I hope you've taken up that tip. Very important one. Again, please don't shy away. Create negative spaces in the way that you style your garments. Very important. And Vishwa just gave you an excellent tip to do that.
Yeah.
Now, I'll go on to my next question, which is color theory. So color theory, guys, is for those of you who don't know, I will explain like a novice, and then Vishwa will be able to explain it from a more expert and like from a more professional standpoint. But net हम ये समझने की कोशिश कर रहे हैं कि कैसे colors पहने, किस तरीके से colors को use करें, so that we can appear our best selves again. And I saw a couple of us saying, यार हमें tall क्यों लगना है? Guys, हमें tall नहीं लगना है. I think the goal is not to look taller, appear taller. The goal is to elevate your look. If you've been conscious about creating vertical lines or horizontal lines or whatever it is that doesn't work for your body, how is it that you can make it work, right? So some of us, it's important to do that. Some of us, it's not important to do that, and that's fine. But the goal today is कि यार I have X number of garments in my wardrobe. उसको मैं कैसे use करूँ कि मैं confident लगूँ, मैं अच्छी लगूँ. And अगर आपको लगता है यार मेरे को vertical lines create करके मैं ये इसमें flattering लगती हूँ, मेरी body better लगती है, I look like the body type that is ideal for me, and that is beautiful. There's no harm in that, and we shouldn't also judge people who want to do that, right? And we always want to look our best. Fashion, आप oversized t-shirt भी पहन रहे हो ना, तो भी आप अपने आप को express कर रहे हो. So it's just an expression of who we are, how we are feeling at a certain point in time. So no wrong or rights there. But then again, coming back to our question, colors, color theory, right? So किस तरीके से colors आप use कर सकते हो, so that that may help you elevate and enhance your look. So I'd love to know like answers. You could type in colors that you like, that you think work for you as a short girl. You could type in, if you know like color theory के concepts, you could type that in, and then I'd be very impressed because मुझे बस एक पता है. So Vishwa, again, India जानना चाहता है, क्या है सही सवाल?
Now, I think अभी इसमें बहुत सारे जवाब हैं. There's a lot that you can do with colors. The easiest answer that everybody knows is a monochrome look. Whatever that you're wearing on top, you just repeat that on bottom. That is something that everybody around us knows. That's not exactly what a monochrome is. Monochrome means one color family. अगर मैं blue bottoms पहन रही हूँ, मैंने light blue color के bottoms पहने, और मैंने slightly medium blue color का top पहना, it is still a monochrome look because the colors are from the same color family. So you can experiment that way as well. For petite people, it is very important that you avoid extremely harsh contrast when you're wearing two separates. Two separates से मेरा मतलब है अगर आप top और bottom पहन रहे हो, तो आपका top अगर white है and आपका bottom अगर black है, that's gonna be two different ends of a color spectrum, right? One is too light and one is too dark. इसकी वजह से एक clear division मिल जाता है कि okay, this much is your torso, what's in white is your torso, and what's in black is your are your legs, right? So हमें पता चल गया कि इनकी height इतनी ही है because of that color division. But now with that black, if I decide to wear a gray top, which is more or less towards the black color family, of course gray is different, but gray is still slightly darker compared to your white. So that color contrast has decreased, and your height doesn't look as short when you're wearing a low contrast option. So that is something you can do. Again, if you're wearing a white top and you want to wear like a tan, like a very light beige color of bottom, that would still work in a lighter color example, right? So that's the color contrast would matter a lot as well. Apart from that, people who are saying dark colors, I would recommend dark colors for bottoms because as I mentioned, हमारा aim है कि अगर हमारे legs थोड़े से लंबे लग रहे हैं compared to the torso, it always helps to create that illusion of elongation in our appearance. The dark colors are going to help with that illusion. And it matters even more when you pair the same color of footwear with your bottom. So अगर मैं black bottoms पहन रही हूँ और मैंने black footwear पहने हैं, that would help me. Rather, अगर मैंने black के साथ white footwear पहने हैं, तो again एक अलग division हो गया. इतने मेरे legs हैं, and then the white part is my feet. Whereas अगर मैंने black के साथ black footwear पहने हैं, that gives me more elongation around my feet. So again, end में हम एक ही चीज करें. My eyes are gonna move up to down. That's your aim, and you just want to figure out कि मैं ये कैसे कर सकती हूँ. So I think that's about colors. Apart from that, आप similar tones में जा सकते हो. If you're a neutral person, people always love neutrals more than the brighter colors, right? So you can create combinations like beige, tan, camel. इन तीनों colors को एक साथ पहनने से एक beige और brown का जो combination बनता है, that creates a monochromatic like look, right? So it's not the beige on beige. You can still wear the beige on beige if you'd like that, but you can experiment with a beige and a tan or a camel. So similar kind of vibe, and that's something which will absolutely work for anybody who's petite.
Okay, lovely. So that's an extension of what a lot of us know, right? We know monochromes to be monochromes, which are sort of matchy. But
Yeah.
what we're saying is it need not be matchy. It can actually be within the same color family. So all of you who mentioned pastel colors, bright colors, dark colors are all right. I think it's all about just figuring out within those shades what really works for your skin tone, what colors you like, and then playing around with them top to bottom, like Vishwa said, creating that vertical line. Lovely. Okay, so now my final question in this rapid fire is accessories. How is it that we shorties can accessorize?
Proportionately sized. I think that is a very very important point. अगर मेरा face बहुत छोटा सा है and मैंने कुछ बहुत ही बड़ा पहन लिया है, naturally a lot of people are not going to be attracted towards something when they know कि मेरा face बहुत छोटा है, तो वो लोग naturally इतना attract ही नहीं होंगे to wear something which is too big. But let's say somebody is very experimental, right, and they would want to wear it. आपके face से ज़्यादा attention उस पे जाएगा, whatever that you're wearing, right? So your proportionally sized jewelry is something that I highly recommend. Apart from that, somebody said no chokers. Now, I'd beg to differ. You can wear chokers, making sure that your neckline is elongated. Now, I'm a petite person myself. I just put it this way that I'm slightly on a higher side of being a petite person, right? So I'm around 5'2"-ish. So I love wearing chokers, and I think that's the maximum that I have in my jewelry collection. But I would always make sure that whenever I'm wearing choker, I cannot be covering my neck up till here and then wear a choker. I need that elongation to be able to wear that choker. So you can still wear your chokers. Apart from that, if we talk about accessories, a very, very important thing is the negative spacing. Especially, let's say if somebody is a bride to be. हम सबको पता है, brides would want to wear heavy jewelry. Of course, it's your day. But you cannot be wearing, being a petite person, being a bride, if you are going to wear something which is like super heavy right up till here, and then your blouse is also covering it, and absolutely no bit of your skin is visible, you are going to look short and nobody's going to be able to help it. No photographers can edit it. It's because you didn't leave any kind of negative spacing. So negative spacing से मतलब है कि your skin has to be visible थोड़ा बहुत. You can wear your heavy jewelry, but just have that neckline correct. If you're wearing a V neckline, choose something which is following that neckline. If you're wearing that typical Sabyasachi neckline, which is nothing but your sweetheart neckline, just choose something that goes in that shape itself, in the neckline direction itself, right? So that is always going to help. So negative spacing is another thing you need to consider whenever you wear your jewelry. And I'd say apart from that, people who are short should be considering more of minimal styles. Now, they can have their personal opinion about it. Like somebody like me is too much into statement jewelry, right? So I would love to wear big pieces around my face, and that's my personal choice. But having said that, I know that I would look better when I wear dainty designs, when I wear minimal design or something which is smaller, because that just goes with my overall body frame. So it's totally up to you. It's totally about your own liking and what do you want to do. So yes.
Okay, lovely. So hopefully we've cracked that too. And that sort of brings us to the end of the rapid fire. But again, it was so much fun. Vishwa is also someone who really genuinely wants to invest and help people, help them style, help them learn. So hopefully, Vishwa, this has been a great experience for us, for the community, for sure. I can see all the questions coming in. बड़े सारे questions हैं, मुझे पता है आप हमें भेजना. As much as we can, we'll try and answer. As much as we can, we'll try and get back to you with answers on some of these styling queries. But then again, thank you for taking the time, Vishwa. It's just been so amazing. I'd love to know how this was for you because आपका पहला था, like your first IG live. So how was it?
This was so good. I enjoyed it, and I still feel like I want to continue and answer more questions, but we have a limit for the time. So I would always request all the audience who have genuine questions can reach out to me on DMs as well. You can reach out to RareReach community. They can also help you with the same. And if you are looking for one-on-one consultation, you now know what I can offer you. So if you'd like to do that, I'm just a DM away on Instagram. So definitely reach out.
Absolutely.
And thank you
I highly recommend
so
that.
much for joining, whoever has joined. Thank you so much. You guys just made it a little more special for me today.
Yay, I'm so glad. No, again, thank you to all the shorties who joined this, who are a part of this. Asked questions. It's great that you're asking questions. इसका मतलब है कि आप invest करना चाहते हो अपने आप में. आपको confidence है कि यार, I'm looking a certain way. I can look even better. I want to look better. And that's always the first step. And then there's a Vishwa who can help you reach that. So make sure that you leverage those kind of opportunities. We're here for you always. Vishwa, I would love to do this again and again and again for as long as can be. I love this. I do this every week. And I think just as you're building a community, the most amazing thing is to connect with people. Abhi to kitne sare log hain that I can just say like, hello, I know them and they're a part of this every week. There was somebody who messaged me the other day and they were like, मैंने अपना exam बस होने ही वाला है, मैं exam में जा रही हूँ, but मुझे live join करना था. I was like, अरे आप please exam के लिए जाओ. It's okay. We can say our hellos later.
That's so sweet. That is so sweet.
But one shorty to another, big hug. Let's build this together. We need a voice in fashion. Short women need to be represented. And I think we need to support each other. So I'm very glad that you came on.
I hope this reaches to some brands as well, because we need petite brands in India right now. We needed them yesterday, but we now really need them.
More so. Absolutely. Yeah. Absolutely. We heard you.
Great.
Great again. Thank you so much, Vishwa. I hope you have a lovely evening. Yes, all of you again have a lovely, lovely evening. Please take care of yourselves. Stay confident. Don't worry. मेरी height नहीं है, ये है, वो है, सब बढ़िया है, सब चंगा है. Don't worry.
Great. Thank you so much for having me.
Thank you. Bye-bye. Good evening.
Bye.
Thank